You are now tuning into the Resilient Podcast. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of the Resilient Podcast. Today, I have a special guest. His name is DJ Danny Ocean from North Carolina. And right now, Danny and I are actually in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend for the Bad Blood Premium Live event here in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. And, this is the first time that Danny and I meet face to face, but Danny is someone who I recently met a few weeks ago online, actually about a month, and we had a conversation on the phone, and Danny shared a little bit about his life story, and I'm not sure how much we're gonna get of it on this podcast, but the stuff that he shared with me really touched me, really touched me, inspired me, and as soon as he told me his story, I was like, this is definitely somebody I need to have on the Resilient Podcast. So it's episode 12. And I'm excited. I'm excited because, this is the first time I do a podcast with someone next to me. And Danny is technically the third guest on the podcast. So in two more episodes with guests, we're going to have a very special guest. But we're going to talk about that another time. Today, we're going to talk about finding peace with Danny, because Danny says that one of his favorite words is actually the word peace.
That is my priority right now, bro. Peace over everything. Peace is my priority.
So, Danny, when we spoke, I told you why I created the Resilient Podcast. And I told you that the Resilient Podcast was created early this year due to a heartbreak, a breakup. And instead of me being out there throwing my life away, I chose to find resilience and see if I could uplift and empower and motivate others along the way. So, as I mentioned before, Danny is a DJ. And Danny, how long have you been DJing for?
Oh, man. I've been DJing over half my life, man. My dad got me into DJing. My dad's been DJing since well before I was born. I just turned 42, September 22nd. I've been DJing since I was 14 years old. He had me literally in the club since I was 5-6 years old. So I grew up in it. I couldn't escape it. The music, the whole thing is just in my blood. Oh, yeah.
So my first question for this podcast is, what initially, you mentioned that your father had you in the club, literally a child. So my first question to you is, what initially sparked your passion for music, and how has it shaped your life and career as a DJ?
Man, it's opened so many doors for one. But what sparked the interest, again, is just seeing my dad do it, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, at that young age, I see people come to the club and they escape whatever rough week they had. They come listen to some music, they dance, they have some drinks, they meet people, whatever, but they're having fun. And my dad is the root of that. Him playing that music is the reason these people are having fun and forgetting about the BS they go throughout the week. And I was like, I want to do that. So like my first few years DJing, I'm DJing for free at $20 and or rent me a game from Blockbuster, So it wasn't about the money. It was always about, I like making people have fun. I like being the cause of that. So that's what got me into it. And I absolutely loved it. Now, of course, I got bills to pay. So of course it's, it's about the money. So, but yeah, I still enjoy the fact that I get to make people happy a couple of times a week. Yeah.
Sounds good. So, that's great that, you care about just making others happy. You know what I'm saying? And you know that music is a big part of that.
For sure.
So my second question to you is, music often brings people a sense of peace.
Oh yeah.
And how has it provided peace in your life? And why do you think it's such a powerful force for you?
Well, for one, there's a song for literally every mood. Whatever mood you're in, you can go to iTunes or Tidal or whatever you use and find a song for that particular mood to kind of accent, add a little razzle dazzle to it, so to speak.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just I can zone out. I can escape reality. Whatever I'm going through, if I'm having a bad day or whatever, I can cut on music and just zone out for a while and not think about whatever's going on. So that's I find peace in music. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I will gladly, if I'm having a terrible day, I'll go home, lock the door, turn the phone off, and just blast music all day. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that.
And the thing about music is that they say that a certain song can always remind you of a certain
Yes.
time in your life,
Absolutely.
place where you was, so, you know, this year, because I've been going through, this whole breakup phase and, this healing journey of mine.
Right.
My ex-girlfriend is a big fan of K-pop.
Mhm.
And, she loves BTS, she loves Stray Kids.
My daughter too. AKK.
And now, sometimes when I'm doing events, because I do brand ambassador work with Dolce & Gabbana.
Mhm.
So sometimes I go to like these stores like Bloomingdale's, Saks, Nordstrom, Macy's to do events. And sometimes, when you go to those department stores, you hear music.
Right. Right.
And, the Bloomingdale's that I work at, for the most part, they started playing about a few months ago one of my favorite BTS songs.
Mm.
And it's like every time that BTS song plays, it takes me back to where I first heard it,
Right.
which was in her car.
Mhm.
We were driving, well, she was driving. I don't know, she used to drive us everywhere, but, it was just one of those days we were in Philly. I don't know where exactly we were going, but we were on the road and that BTS song played. And I heard it so many times in her car to the point that now when I hear it, I can be so happy. And all it takes is for me to hear that song. And now, like, I'm in a little sad mood. But recently, what I started doing was I started saying to myself, when I hear this song, instead of just feeling down, I'm actually going to start smiling. Because it's going to, here's the thing, the memory, I mean, you were talking about memories earlier before we started this podcast.
Right.
So you said that you're big on memories.
Yeah.
The memories that I always had when I heard that song, it was always us just in the car chilling, going to a certain destination. So it wasn't necessarily a bad memory. It's not like we were arguing and then heard the song. We were going somewhere.
Right.
So it was a positive memory. So that's what I started saying to myself. I said to myself, instead of like feeling sad whenever I hear the song, let me just start smiling.
Yeah, I feel that.
Because all I can do is just smile. I can't tell the people that don't play the song,
Right.
Because they're not going to care.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this song reminds you of someone. Well, that's not our fault.
Right.
But there are songs in my life that when I listen to, it takes me back to my childhood.
Oh yeah.
It takes me back to like when I was a kid. When I used to dance with my mom. My mom was a big Tina Turner fan, so my mom's favorite Tina Turner song is actually "What's Love Got to Do With It."
Oh yeah.
That's my favorite Tina Turner song, simply the best. But I love "What's Love Got to Do With It," and I've always said the day that my mom passes away, I'm gonna blast "What's Love Got to."
Because it's not going to make you think about bad times. It's going to make you think about the good times.
Exactly.
Right. I feel that.
Exactly.
Sure.
So, there's a lot of songs that I listen to, like, for example, like Michael Jackson is one of my favorite artists.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I listen to a Michael song, it's like, unless it's like one of those songs like Heal the World.
Oh, yeah.
But if it's Billie Jean, you can't be sad listening to it.
I swear.
You can't be sad listening to Do You Remember the Time. You can't be sad listening to, Beat It or Thriller. You know what I'm saying? So, there's songs out there that when I listen to them, they make me sad. And there's songs out there that make me happy.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, music is just so powerful. People don't understand it. Sometimes you can just go into a concert and your artist is playing one of your favorite songs or just one of those old hits. Mm-hmm. They sing it. And it's like, for example, I'm a big Mariah Carey fan.
Oh, yeah.
And, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I think Mariah Carey is one of the greatest ever.
She is, no question.
So a few years ago, I was at Global Citizen Festival, and Mariah Carey was one of the headliners, and she performed Honey. And Honey, we were kids when that song came out.
Right, thanks.
So when I heard Honey, I was like, no, it takes me back to the 1980s, especially in the 90s when Mariah was dominating. So a lot of people, they were like, oh, you listen to Mariah and this. I was like, listen, like, of course, like I love Mary J. Blige. I just mentioned Tina Turner.
Oh.
You would not know who's one of my favorite old school artists. Who's a female? Can you take a guess? She's old school.
Old school. Yeah. What decade should I?
A few decades ago.
Oh man,
at least 3 to 4 decades.
I want to say Lauryn Hill, but that's not old enough.
Yeah, she's old enough. I do like Lauryn Hill because I saw her live last year. I think
Nice.
She killed. But this person could actually be Lauryn Hill's mom.
Anita Baker.
I love Anita Baker. And Anita Baker's actually been very instrumental during this healing journey of mine, this heartbreak of mine.
Oh yeah.
Because I dedicated when my ex-girlfriend and I were supposed to make a year together in August, I actually sent her a video of all our pictures that we took together as a couple, and I used it in a Baker song.
Nice.
Yeah, for that. But she's around it.
Yeah.
She's a big. She's like around Tina Turner's time.
Huh.
So I'll give you one more guess, and if you can't figure it out, then I'll
around Tina Turner. Whitney? Is it Whitney?
No, Whitney's too young.
Whitney is too young. She's definitely younger than Tina. I give up.
Okay.
I give.
Chaka Khan.
Okay. I did not see that coming a mile away.
So Through the Fire.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs.
Oh.
Believe it or not, there's something about that song, I'm Every Woman, because even though I'm not a female, but I like it. But my favorite Chaka Khan song is actually Beautiful Body.
Oh yeah, easily. That's a top 10 female R&B record of all time right there.
And the reason why is because I dedicate that song to my grandmother.
Okay.
My grandmother is the one female in this world in my entire life that loved me the most.
Right.
Loved me more than my own mother loved me. You know what I'm saying? And I know that that's a song that it's someone dedicating it to a lover.
Right.
But sometimes you could take songs that are like that it's dedicated to a lover, and actually
kind of repurpose it.
Yeah, exactly. Because for example, like my brother's, so my nephew, my brother's first son, well, his only son, because my brother only has one son. He has 3 girls. When my brother's son was born, his mom repurposed "You Are Everything" by Mary J. Blige.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's a song dedicated to a man that
right.
loves. But since that was her firstborn, and then it's a boy, she dedicated that song.
Nice. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like you mentioned, a big purpose. But yeah, Chaka Khan, hands down, I love Chaka Khan. I saw Chaka Khan perform maybe twice, 3 times. First time I saw Chaka Khan was at a free concert in Brooklyn.
A free concert.
And it was in Brooklyn.
Wow.
And so my mom, my mom was born in 1958. So my mom was listening to songs in the late 60s, early 70s, 80s, of course. I was born in 86. So a lot of the music that my mom listens to or listened to is the music that I like.
Right.
And I love all this new generation music, but the music that really, really hits me is the old shit.
Bro, nothing hits harder than 80s, 90s, 2000s music.
Yes,
R&B,
especially 2000s.
Yeah,
because 2000s, that's Usher came out and all these other artists. Remember how Ja Rule dominated, Shanti.
Dude, and currently, right now, like, I DJ the parties with the, current music and whatnot, but I prefer to DJ stuff from my age range. That 30 plus crowd that, I can play 90s, 2000s all night and they're going to love it. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear Sexy Red all night. No shade to Sexy Red or nothing like that. But yeah, I can't listen to that for 4 or 5 hours.
Folks, I think this is the only time that Sexy Red is going to be ever referenced on a Resilient Podcast episode. So I'll allow it. But, I gotta give it to the artists that are coming up now. Like, what's this one artist, man? She sings a song called I don't even know the name of the song because sometimes you could just sing a song but not remember the name.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of these artists now, I notice especially these female artists, a lot of them sound like the old.
It's
singers
starting to
from back.
come back.
You know what I'm saying?
Everything comes full circle, and you hear that talent in some of these new girls that you did in the audience, and it gives you that vibe of them. I think that's what makes them successful. When people like us hear it, and we think of a Shaka Khan or a Whitney Houston or whatever, that's what makes them successful. It's from us, not the new crowd. I feel like,
Yeah. So, we could talk about music forever.
all day.
You know what I'm saying?
telling
Because
you.
you're a music industry person. When I started ARCG Media, we were representing music artists,
Okay.
underground music artists, and that's in a way how I kind of met Mega Ran, one of our mutual friends.
Shout out to Mega Ran.
Shout out to Mega Ran. And but I wanted to ask you a very serious question right now. So this question to you is: can you share a pivotal moment in your life when you knew you needed to find resilience, and how did the concept of peace help you navigate that time?
When I had to be resilient, um, I went through a pretty bad breakup a few years ago, about 3 years ago or so. And, you're with somebody for so long, you kind of start feeling like, what am I going to do without this person? I don't know how to live life without this person anymore. They've been there for so long. I had no option but to find resilience in that situation. It was like, it's either I'm going to sit here and shrivel up and die, or I'm going to keep pushing, one or the other. And that whole situation helped me find my peace. It helped me learn how to set my boundaries. You know what I mean? It showed me how to tell people, no, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not putting up with this. I don't want this in my life. I have one life to live, so I don't have to deal with anything I don't want to in this one life. Be it family, be it a friend, be it an associate, be it a job. It doesn't matter. If I don't want to do it, if it disturbs my peace, it's way too much for me. I can't do it. So yeah, it took some bad times to get to the good times, and that's what life is a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's you know how they say that it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Yes, and I recently actually, oh my goodness, you ever had those times where it seems like everything that can go wrong is going wrong? That was me. Actually, the day before you called, when we first talked about doing this and everything.
Yes.
That Saturday, because we talked on a Sunday. That Saturday, oh my gosh, that entire week, everything I caught I caught 2 flat tires that week actually. Uh, like random issues with my truck, random issues in my house. My air conditioning unit went out completely, $1,000 to fix and all. Like it was a lot back to back. And then when I got that last flat, I'm sitting on the side of the road waiting for the tow truck to come. I had a breakdown, and I'm like, this has got to be a test. There's got to be something better coming my way, because I can't I'm being tested right now, and I cannot give up. But I had a serious breakdown on the side of the road. My truck broke down, and I broke down. But that next day, you called me actually, and that literally changed my entire outlook on everything. It's like I knew I was being tested, and something dope was coming my way, and they were trying to throw me off course. The devil was trying to throw me off course, and I wasn't going for it. Stay strong. When I got home that night, all I did was pray. I prayed. I woke up that next morning, you called me. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is insane. So that was you calling me was a simple reminder that, don't give up, don't quit. Dope things are gonna happen. Bad stuff happens. You gotta roll with the punches. Simple as that.
I'm glad I was able to do that for you, because I was just calling you just because I wanted to speak to you.
Right, and again, you have that. You had no idea that impacted me the way it did, because, like I said, stuff was going so bad, bro. Like, and it's just little stuff started becoming big stuff, and it was breaking me down, honestly. But again, that phone call literally helped turn things up.
Well, I'm glad that phone call, put things into perspective for you.
Appreciate you, man.
That's good. So, we're talking about peace.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask you, what does peace mean to you? How do you incorporate it in your daily life, both personally and professionally?
Like I just said, if it costs me my peace, it is too expensive, whatever it may be. If my last job I had before I got in radio, it was a retail store, and I worked there for about 13 years, and I actually used to love the job. But then when it got out of hand, started getting kind of annoying, I was like, I can't do this. I had no backup plan. I just quit. I quit. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but luckily the radio thing fell into my lap, and it worked out very well for me. But yeah, it's I prioritize my peace over any and everything else. So, like I said, it's just if I feel like this isn't good for me or for my life, if it's gonna disturb my peace, if it's gonna if I feel like it's gonna mess me up in any way, or and I'm pretty religious. I pray a lot. I pray for guidance. I pray for clarity. So if I pray for both of those, and if I'm doing something and it doesn't feel right to me, or if it's not working out how I want it to, I leave it alone. Again, I can't let it cost me my peace. But when I start doing something and it feels good, it feels right, and I start progressing from that, like this wrestling media stuff. I've been watching WWE since I was a kid, bro. And now I get to go out here, media credentials to do interviews and stuff. That's insane to me. I got to interview Edge for AEW a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago. You know what I mean? Like mind blowing stuff. When I start something and it feels right, I pray for that guidance. I pray for that clarity, and stuff keeps getting better and better. I keep leaning on that. And now I'm here with you right now, in Atlanta right now. This is dope. Yeah.
No, it's good, man. I like that. So, as a DJ, your work brings a lot of energy to others. How do you find peace amidst the excitement and high energy of your career?
Again, me seeing people have a million options of places they can go to. You know what I mean? They could stay home and watch a movie. They could go to Outback and have a steak or something. But instead, they're spending money to come see me DJ or come listen to the music I play. That is an amazing feeling. And again, me making them happy and them taking the time to come see me and spending their hard-earned money to see me, that makes me the happiest person on earth. It really does. It does.
That's good. So, how do you think resilience and peace are connected? And how have they influenced each other in your journey?
For me, I feel like you have to be resilient to find peace. Otherwise, it's just going to be chaos around you at all times. Bad things happen. I mean, it's life. We can't shake that. That's just going to happen. But what are you going to do? Are you just going to let it happen to you, or are you going to keep pushing? Are you going to keep moving? You got to figure out how to again roll with the punches, and somehow you do have to find your peace in that chaos. So once you do figure out how to bounce back from whatever you need to do, you know what to stay away from. And that's where you find your peace, away from what was disturbing it in the first place.
Like that space. So, looking back, is there a moment when you realized that resilience was essential for you to continue doing what you love?
I've wanted to quit DJing a million times. It's it's not like it used to be. It's these youngins are crazy. These young dudes are crazy out here. You step on somebody's shoe, next thing you know, they're club getting shot up. And I have unfortunately witnessed stuff like that on several occasions, and it makes you not want to do it anymore, to be honest with you. Because it's like, again, I post a flyer online and say, hey, I'm having this party, come out, see me. I don't want anybody to come out and have to dodge bullets or get hit with a bottle or some stupid stuff when they just came to have a good time. So that makes me want that several occasions made me want to stop doing it. But that's why I just said, I don't do too much of the young crowd stuff anymore. I do stuff for people my age. That's where I find my fun at. And I don't want to have to deal with the extra stuff.
Yeah, that's really I don't go to club.
I don't blame. I feel
I've never
you.
gone clubbing a day in my life. I've been to lounges. I've been to, I'm not gonna say I haven't been to clubs because I've been to clubs. Like there's been times that I was doing an event when I started to come work and it was in a club. But I never was a club head. I never really wanted to be because one thing I noticed is this is not all the clubs. Because see, when our parents, because my parents came from the Dominican Republic, they came in the 70s. This is the Grease era,
Okay.
club, whatever it was, Studio 59 or whatever you
Studio
call it.
54.
Studio 54, New York. My parents came at the right time to New York. And everybody had afros. And it was a disco era.
Yeah.
It was a disco era. So my parents used to go out clubbing every week, but it was different back then. See, the whole, violence and stuff like that. Listen, that stuff usually comes from, today it's a little bit more different. It's like you mentioned, sometimes you may just step on somebody's sneakers and the next thing you know,
Bad energy, man.
But back in the day, people just had to be really intoxicated. And that's one things I always try to prevent was I just want to go out at the time.
Right.
Because again, I love music.
Yeah.
And I love to dance. Especially when it's MJ. I love to get down. But I'm like, why should I go out and live my life in fear?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I'm having a good time, how does a good time turn into a bad time? And that's what I just don't understand. But we can't control, we can't control how the world works.
Right.
You being a DJ, you can just go out there and put your headset on, and get your microphone and your turntable ready and all of that. And you expect it to be a great night of people just, party.
Oh, yeah.
And then, God forbid, something unexpected happens, it changes, like.
It takes a toll on you, man.
It does.
It really does. Just like, again, it hurts me because, again, I invited these people out, They're out here because I said, they come to see me and they're getting some stuff they had nothing to do with. It sucks, man. It's times I just didn't want to do it anymore. But again, shout out to the people that do come out and just want to have a good time, have a drink or two, cut a rug, meet somebody, do it again next weekend.
Yeah. So, like, I've been invited to the club and, I'm from New York. We have some of the best clubs.
Oh, yeah.
But, like I said, it's one of the reasons why I never went clubbing. And the thing is, I also noticed that sometimes most of the clubs, people just stand against the wall for the whole night.
That is another thing.
And they don't want to buy drinks for other people or for themselves. They expect somebody else to get them a drink. And I'm not talking about the females. I'm talking about guys as well.
Guys do it too.
I've had guy friends that have told me, there was a guy waiting for me to buy. Somebody saw me buy a bottle and they thought that everybody could drink out of it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing all that, And let me tell you something. Like, when I started my career with ARCG, and I used to tell people I'm a promoter, unfortunately,
they think it's a club.
I thought it was a club promoter. So some people were okay with that. Some people were like, oh, yeah. And I had to keep specifying, I don't do clubs.
Yeah.
Because they would be like, oh, guest list. This. I'm like, what guest list?
Uh-huh.
That's not the type of promotion I'm talking about. And then some folks would be like, oh, you're a promoter? Yeah, I can't really deal with it. And especially like when I started dating, I would tell females that I was a promoter and they'd be like, oh, you one of those? I'm like, wait, what are those what? I'm like, do you know what I even promote? And they're like, wait, well, aren't you promoting at a club tonight? I'm like, no. It's like, I don't need flyers. I don't need none of that stuff.
The stigma,
no disrespect to those people.
The stigma around being a DJ has cost me so many potential relationships. Oh, you got women all around you every night. I mean, I'm worried about these turntables, baby. Like, I'm not even looking over there. But you can believe what you will.
So, at the end of the day, like I said, I go to lounges once in a while, go to a bar. I'll go to an event, like a networking event, an industry event, like a launch event.
Right.
We're gonna get into launching because I know that there's something you want to share with us, Dave.
Yeah, man.
But I wanna ask you maybe like a few more questions.
Okay.
And the next question to you is, as you look ahead, what are your biggest aspirations and how do you hope to cultivate peace in your future endeavors?
Probably to be completely honest with you, I'm ready to kind of veer away from DJing full time. I am enjoying this digital media stuff. Like, I really am. Like, podcasting, and I did a live podcast for my birthday a couple of weeks ago at my hometown. We had an audience and everything, and that vibe was so fun to me. We had a mic set up in the crowd so people can come talk and respond to us and everything. We had live performances, artists come perform and everything. It was so fun, and it was probably the most fun I've had in a long time in the club scene. It was in a bar. It wasn't necessarily a club scene, but yeah, I enjoy conversation. You know what I mean? I enjoy, genuine conversation. Like when we do our wrestling podcast, shout out Von Casey and Malik Wilson, 3NT Wrestling. We every Sunday we link up, we talk wrestling, and we forget the cameras are rolling because we're just having a good conversation about what we watched on TV this week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, and since I've been on radio, it's helped me cultivate my host my hosting skill, I guess you'd say. And I'm enjoying it. Like I really am enjoying it, and people are seeming to enjoy it too. And I feel like if I wouldn't have these credentials to Bad Blood or AEW anywhere if I wasn't doing a somewhat decent job. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm ready to lean into that. And as far as peace, again, the club scene with all the crazy stuff going on out there, I don't have the same peace I used to have doing it. The music brings me peace, but having to watch over my shoulder in the club does not bring me peace at all. But yeah, this is a more peaceful thing for me to do. I feel like, so I feel like it's a natural transition to it.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, listen, I'm not sure if I told you this when I spoke to you on the phone for the first time, but my company ARCG Media was celebrating 11 years this year. Last year was the 10th anniversary.
Okay.
And I had a private event. And for the first time in my life, for someone like me that kind of documents everything I do, because I am a social media manager, ambassador. So pretty much my life revolves around social media because that's literally what I chose to be. I chose to be a digital marketing professional.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first time ever, I did an event that was not documented. And I even asked my guests, and I wrote it. Actually, one day I'm going to show you guys the invitation if I can find one. I literally said, please no cell phones, no pictures, no video.
That's actually my type of part.
And it's crazy because there was a tripod center that one of the guys that works for me, his name is Carl. He actually took photos of me at the event as I was speaking on the podium when I was thanking everybody for coming. But I said to people, listen, at the event, I actually said to them, listen, if you guys want to record something or take a picture, just for the memory, that's fine. Right. But please don't post it on social media. And they've respected that. Because I haven't seen a single client of mine post a photo. I had 50 people at that event.
Which we live in this world where everything's a big clout chase and they have to post it to social media immediately. I'm more of a live in the moment type of person. Like, I don't understand. People go to concerts, go to wrestling events and whatnot, and they watch it through their phone the whole time. I'm like, why, bro? You're not enjoying
making me feel guilty now because
a lot of people do that. And it's different again, you work on social media. You know what I'm saying? So that's different. You got to get the content. But like some women I went to concerts and stuff with, they will record the whole thing, just sit and watch it through their phone. Like Beyonce is right in front of you. You don't have to.
Listen, if you have Beyonce right in front of you and you're watching it through your phone, that's a problem.
It's crazy to me. That's always been crazy to me.
Yeah. But that event was so private that a lot of people didn't even think it happened.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, how do we know it actually happened? I was like, well, I can show you some folks that will take it from the event. And they're like, oh, okay, I see your logo in the background, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So anyways, at the event, I started talking to everybody and I kept asking them, like, what do you guys want to see with the ARCG? That's 10 years. And believe it or not, Danny, everybody kept shouting, podcast. It's time for a podcast. And for years, I kept saying, I don't want to, and this is true. You can ask people that know. People would tell me years ago, when are you going to start your own podcast? And I'm like, I'm never going to start my own podcast. And this is why they always say, never say never. Here we are.
For sure.
12 episodes in. And, the reason why I felt like I didn't want to do a podcast is because I felt like everybody did. And I said, you got to have substance. You got to know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
To even have a podcast. And look, I've been very transparent and open with everybody. I still get nervous doing these episodes. Yes, this is episode number 12, but I still make mistakes. There's still a lot of editing that my guy Oscar has to do after these episodes because I'm still not there yet. And believe it or not, I still read off of certain things just to, and some people won't admit that because they think it might be too tacky or I can't confess that I am still reading.
So no, even in radio, I've been working in radio for 3 years now and I still have to check out a script from time to time, or pre-record something because I'm too nervous to talk about it live.
Yeah.
It happens, man. It happens.
So, you got to give the shout out and you got to applaud those people that admit to the things like the kind, because I'm a very big behind the scenes person.
Oh yeah.
I like to show people the stuff that happens, for you to get to where you need to get.
Right.
Because not all moments are going to be gold. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have some moments that you can learn from. Some of them are funny. Some of them, and sometimes we see these in the movies. Like when we watch like behind the scenes in a movie, how many times it took to make one take.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So folks, appreciate it because we're human beings. We all make mistakes, and But here's the thing: we're supposed to learn from mistakes.
For sure.
So this is one of the reasons why I didn't want to create a podcast. But people kept shouting podcast, and I said, if one more person says podcast tonight,
you're gonna do it.
This event is over. And they just kept shouting it. So then, what was it? A few months later, I was in Philadelphia one day, and I say this a lot. I've shared this story a lot of times already, but I was in Philadelphia and I reached out to an old friend and I said, listen, man, you remember a few months ago when I spoke to you about entertaining? Because he has podcasts himself.
Right.
So I was like, I think I'm finally ready to do this. Mm-hmm. And this was like in the fall that I took this, probably like about a year ago, that I brought the subject's attention. And here I am. And I started the podcast with someone. Now I'm on my own. But I'm still learning. And I want to get to the point where, of course, practice was everything. But I want to get to the point where, these episodes of the Resilient Podcast are something people look forward to tuning in. I mean, right. I have a small group of folks right now that look forward to the next. Right. Like the episode before this one, episode 11, I actually took like a week and a half hiatus. Okay. And people were like, hey, is the podcast over? Because you haven't announced, because I usually do these podcasts every 2 weeks.
Right.
So 2 podcasts a month. Okay. But people noticed at the end of the month was coming and they're like, hey, September's almost over. Where's episode number 11? So I was like, wow, I just started this podcast. So just imagine 100 episodes in, or 200 episodes, if I ever get to that point. I would love to one day announce this is episode 500 of the Resilient Podcast. Which would be crazy. I mean, I'm going to be old as hell. I'm not going to see this black hair is going to be white and this beard is going to be white. But listen, man. I've had this journey. Podcasting has been amazing.
Yeah.
It's helped me heal. It's helped me learn stuff, discover stuff. I'm a marketing research person. So I do a lot of, it's part of the stuff that I do.
Right.
So when I started doing a lot of research on podcasting, what makes podcasts so significant, so nice, I learned so much. And I was like, wow, it's much more than just a person with microphone, headset, whatever device they're using to film, to shoot the podcast with. One, you got to be in the right headspace. 2, you got to really, really have good conversation. And then sometimes you don't have to have a conversation planned. You could just go off,
That's usually how podcasts go. I used to have a podcast with my brother and another friend of mine. And we'd go in there with like 2 or 3 topics, and we ended up talking about 50 different things. Because after a while, you forget the cameras are there, and it just becomes a natural conversation between homies. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it's fun, man. Just repetition and consistency. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
I like how, like, when we started this podcast episode, the quality of the video was not the best because of the background.
Light. Now
that the sun's going down and we're right, this nice, beautiful skyline building in Atlanta's right behind us. Yeah, look, you see the skies are pink and purple. But what I like about it is that, the quality's gotten a little better.
Oh.
So my next question to you is, what message or advice would you share with others who may be seeking peace in their lives or trying to find resilience through tough times?
Honestly, I'd probably say just keep going. Just keep going. Like, if you wake up that morning, that is another chance to get it right. Every day we wake up is literally another chance to do what you want to do or do what you need to do to make things right or make things happen. When you quit is when it's over. I mean, that's it. Nobody else is responsible for that. Nobody else is responsible for you but you. So whenever you quit is when it's over. So just keep going. That's the biggest advice I have for any and everybody. Don't stop. If you're serious about what you want to do, be it podcasting, be it rapping, be it whatever you want to do in your life, you can actually do it if you just keep going. Just keep going.
I had a business partner. His name was J.R. Rockefeller. And he was part of the beginning of the, RCG had just started 11 years ago. And his famous quote was, "Keep going."
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And as another quote from my man, Waleed Coyote, he's a record executive from Empire Records and others records. Ever forward, never backward.
Wow, never heard that one.
Ever forward, never backward. I actually have it written down. I have a whiteboard in my bedroom. I have my weird thoughts about, things that need to get done. I wake up in the middle of the night right up there. But at the top of it, right across the whole top, ever forward, never backward. Well, you cannot get where you're going if you're looking in your rearview mirror the whole time. Keep moving forward. Simple as that.
So, my next question to you is, I know that a few years ago you married, and you told me that you guys got divorced, right?
No, we're separated. We're
You're
not
separated,
divorced
still
now.
not divorced.
And we actually have been, talking lately and trying to figure things out and whatnot. I don't know what direction it's going to go, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't have the same hurt or spite that I had, a few years ago. You know
That's
what I mean? But yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
So, well, from what I remember, it was a long-term relationship.
Yeah, we were together for 15 years,
That's
married for overseas.
Wow.
Mhm.
So, I know that back then your mindset was different
Mhm.
to what it is now.
Right, a lot
So,
different.
this question I want to ask you is, if you could describe your current mindset and outlook on life in one word, what would it be and why?
Um, it's gonna be funny, but resilience. Resilience is the word I got for it. That is not a cheap plug for the podcast. That is legit. Like, you have to be resilient, man. And I've been resilient through it all because I really thought, like, I'm done. Like, I have nothing. I'm not gonna get too in detail or graphic about things, but it was over for me. It was over. I was checked out. I was ready to tap out completely, and people don't understand. And I tell my boss, my program director, Jane Doe, my assistant program director, DJ Chaos at the station, 101.9 Kiss FM in Eastern North Carolina, they saved my life. Because when I was going through the roughest part of my life, dude, me and my wife separated. My grandmother had just passed. My brother's mom had just passed. I got in a car accident. My daughter we weren't on good terms. Like, everything was hitting me back to back. And then they called me with that job I've been chasing since I was a kid. You know what I mean? And I tell them, you saved my life. Like, you have no idea. Because this is all I've wanted was this. And I felt like I had nothing else. Now I've got radio, and I leaned all the way into it. And I worked my way up to the number one show in the country for mid-sized markets anyway. And I'm helping the whole station. Our whole station is number one in the country right now. And I freaking love it, man. I absolutely love it. But yeah, I had to be resilient to get there. I had to.
So, Dan, I first and foremost, what I want to say is, God gave you a vision.
That's another thing. When I was going through all that, I was literally cursing God out because I was like, yo, you can't be real if you're putting me through all this. You know what I mean? My ex's mom convinced me to go to church. She's like, what do you got to lose? I went to church. I never forget. Shout out to Pastor Judy Moore, United Faith Christian Center. She was in the middle of her sermon and she stopped and walked over to me and just hugged me, squeezed me. Like, I don't know what it is. I know you need this. She just started praying for me on the spot. Just interrupted everything because she felt like I needed it. You know what I mean? She came talk to me, and it changed my entire life. Everything since then, since I got God back in my life, has been on the up and up. Everything, Rob. Everything.
Wow.
So I'm a firm believer in God for sure. For sure.
So, like I said, God, He gave you a second chance. And ultimately, even though we're just getting to know each other now, I want to thank you for our time, because you would be here today and we wouldn't be able to have this conversation we're having right now.
Right.
Most importantly, that dream job that you always wanted, you would have never had.
That's true.
And you've been able to find peace and resilience in the last few years. And if you wasn't here, it would have been such a shame. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I to be honest with you, sometimes I feel like I'm gonna wake up from all this one day. Cause like I sometimes I feel like I have no business being able to do some of the things I get to do. I'm sitting in a crowd at WrestleMania. It's like, how the hell am I here right now? Like, what did I do to deserve to be here? I know I just bought a ticket, but there's people around the world that would love to be here right now. They'd love to have the means to buy a ticket.
I get that all the time.
You know what I mean? And then the whole, when I went to AEW Revolution, Sting's last match, I actually had to go back for the media scrum and everything. I'm like, I'm sitting here in front of one of my favorite wrestlers of all time right now. What am I doing here? I'm not supposed to be here, and I tell myself that all the time, but then that also, if I wasn't supposed to be here, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
God put me here for whatever reason he saw fit. I trust him. So I just follow him.
I've seen myself in situations like that, with WWE and a lot of other things.
Right.
WrestleMania 35, it was in New York City,
right,
New Jersey. But
that was Kofi Mania, right?
Yeah, Kofi Mania. Nice. And at the time, I was dating someone, and I remember we had a little fallout in that week. I was just so overwhelmed because it was one of the first times that WWE was allowing me to be a coach.
Right.
And it was just so important to me that I'm trying to press that movie so much that I kind of started prioritizing that and forgetting that I had an actual life.
Right.
So it kind of got my ex-girlfriend a little upset. And I remember one day we were talking and I was standing in front of her door because I think they had just had an argument and I was either leaving, coming in, something. And she said to me, "You should be proud of yourself. Like, WrestleMania 35 is coming in. I made part of it.
Right.
And you may think that you deserve it. You may think that you haven't done anything to earn it. But she was like, since I've been with you, all your hard work and sacrifices you off. So that's why you're WrestleMania 35." So I used to be that type of person that would say sometimes, because I still feel that. I still find myself in places sometimes they saying, "Wow, I'm here."
Dude, every major event. When my plane landed today, I'm WWE Bad Blood.
Yeah. But what I say to myself is, because I used to be that person. I used to say, "Why am I here? I'm not supposed to be."
Right.
But what I say is, thank you, God, for letting me.
Yes.
Like, thank you, God, for allowing me to be part of this. That's how I felt about WrestleMania 40 years of WrestleMania. I really wanted to be there with my ex-girlfriend because she was supposed to be there with me because Philly is her stomping grounds. And I was there by myself, aside from friends that I connected with and whatnot. And I was there by myself too. But I was thankful because I got the chance to see one of my childhood heroes, Rock, have a match. That was the first match I've ever seen Rock have in person. And Cody's features. And it was just this, the magic of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I wanted to, I'm going to ask you one more question.
Okay.
And this is a question that I ask everybody that's on this podcast. But I wanted to share real quick that today just happens to be National Vodka Day. And it's so, I don't know, so coincidental that Danny man brought the vodka of his own vodka. And it's actually called
Ocean Water.
Look at that. Ocean
Water vodka. Man.
So remember when I was telling you guys earlier about a launch? So Danny was telling me that he's actually having a launch of that.
Yeah, and this is why it's a super busy weekend for me. I told you earlier before we started filming, I hadn't slept since I slept like 2 hours in the last couple of days.
Oh man!
But I've been on go. When I leave here Sunday, I'm leaving Atlanta Sunday, October 6th, flying back North Carolina. Should be landing by 10 a.m. I have to go DJ a launch party for my vodka. It's promo time. It's out now. It's released. It's not in the ABC stores just yet. It's only at the you can only buy it at the distillery that it's made at right now. But we should be in ABC stores before October is out. But yeah, we're having a launch party tomorrow on the back deck at that bar in the distillery where it's made at. I'm super excited about it. A lot of people coming in town to hang out with me and celebrate with me. I have the most random ideas and I do the most random stuff. And I'm like,
sounds like me.
And it's like, how does this work? And again, it's like, why is this happening? It's like, this is insane to me that I'm literally holding my own vodka in my hand. Like, this is crazy to me.
So I see the flavors here is peach, watermelon, vanilla.
Yeah. So okay. So when this whole thing came about, I was literally laying in bed like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, it would be cool if I had my own liquor. And I texted the guy that owns the distillery. I was like, hey, what if I had my own liquor? He's like, come by and let's do a taste testing to figure out what flavor you want. And we did I sat in there for like 2 hours. I actually got a video dropping of that when we did the taste testing and everything next week sometime. Went there, did the taste testing, and that's the flavor is peach, watermelon, vanilla. That's the combination that tasted the best to me. And we went with it. And so far, it is a hit. I've got no bad reviews so far. Everybody, they're selling bottle after bottle out there at Black Beards and New Bern. So I appreciate the love so far. And it hadn't even, hit the ABC stores.
So listen, I'm big on reviews.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
do you
give it a
mind?
shot.
Yeah, sure.
Let's give it a shot.
All right. Usually I drink, sometimes I drink like a shot of Terramana, but today, because it's National Vodka Day, we're having some of this,
Ocean.
what I believe is going to be some amazing vodka, and it's called Ocean Water. So Dan, before we take this shot, I just wanted to say one more time, thank you for not tapping out, not throwing in the towel.
Mhm.
Life is a gift.
Oh, yeah.
And if we're still here, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
Every day, like you mentioned, is another chance
To get it right.
to get it right. And we need to start appreciating life more. And no matter what is going on, no matter what hurdles we may be going through, what things we may be going through, because I know life is not easy, and I know people say things like life is what you make it. But I always like to say to people, one life to live it well. And what I mean about that is no matter what is going on, just make sure that you always push forward and keep going. Like JR would say, keep going no matter what. How you said, keep going. Because folks, I promise you, life doesn't always have to be about sadness and, all these negative things. There's another side that it's beautiful, it's rewarding, it's refreshing. And trust me. So I want to make this toast to everybody out there. This toast is also for you as well, Danny.
I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate it. I'll be honest, it tastes like medicine. And I like it though.
I went for I've been in the club sitting DJing for my whole life, so I had bars in mind. I wanted something that you can drink just on ice or something good as a mix with something else.
Yeah.
So that's why it's pretty sweet. But
it's beautiful. I like it.
I'm glad you like it.
So I appreciate the fact that you shared that with me. I also have something I want to share with you as well that I actually want to gift you with. So, folks, I mentioned to you guys in some of the previous episodes that the new Resilient Podcast gear will be available. As you can see, this is the first episode I do that I'm wearing the Resilience jacket. So, I have a jacket right here as well. And it's actually the jacket that I'm wearing. And it actually says, see if we can get it over here. So it says Resilience on the back. And the logo in the front. Hey, Danny, I wanted to personally gift you with a Resilience t-shirt.
Yo, that's so dope, bro. That is so dope.
So, peace is one of your favorite words, but I believe that after today, resilience is going to be one of your favorite words as well, too. So, I look forward to you wearing this shirt.
Oh, I'm wearing it to the launch party tomorrow. My pleasure.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That.
I actually might even wear it to Bad Blood tomorrow.
I love that. Make sure you take pictures and tag the Resilient Pod. So speaking about the Resilient Pod, folks, you can follow us on Instagram and X at the Resilient Pod, on Facebook at the Resilient Tribune. And Danny, before I ask you the final question, and before we go, where can people find you?
Oh man, I am on pretty much everything at the Danny Ocean Show. The Danny Ocean Show. That's the name of my radio show, and I pretty much made it synonymous with all my social media. Easiest to find me, easy way to find me, and that's what when I do decide to start podcasting and stepping out again, everything is going to be the Danny Ocean Show. So go follow me and follow 3NT Wrestling at 3NT Wrestling on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. That's where we talk graps all day long, pretty much. So yeah,
Okay. So, are you ready for the final question?
let's do it.
So, my final question to you is, and you probably heard me ask people this before if you've seen some of my episodes. If you could share one message with the world, especially about finding peace and resilience, what would it be and why?
Do it for you. Do it for you. Again, life is short. Life is short. The only thing that you can guarantee about your life or guarantee in your life, anything that you can guarantee in your life, it comes from you. So you have to do that for you. Make time for yourself. Don't be afraid to be selfish with you sometimes. Your energy, your time, your do it for you. Do it for you. Be resilient for you. Find your peace. Don't put everybody first all the time because you will run yourself ragged. Same way I did. Now I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. That's not even.
Amen.
That is not any type of exaggeration whatsoever. I am the happiest I've ever been when I started making myself a priority. So do it for you.
Appreciate that, Dan.
No problem, man.
So,
Appreciate you.
folks, this concludes episode 12 of the Resilient Podcast. As you can see, it's gotten darker in the back.
Yeah, man.
And Danny and I, we're even though Bad Blood is tomorrow, we're gonna be doing a lot of stuff tonight. We're gonna probably go out, get some really good food, see what's going on in Atlanta. But Danny, I really, really appreciate having you on the show.
I appreciate you.
This is the first time that I have someone next to me during the podcast. And, I think it was a great episode. Just to hear the things that you shared and just to hear what you just finished saying, that you're the happiest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through some stuff right now. It's pretty obvious. I'm still healing from this breakup. I wanted to marry this woman that broke up with me, or that we broke up with each other.
And like I
If
said,
you want to put it that
I
way.
was there, and I was there a couple of years ago, man. And my best advice for you, other than just keep going, is it will get so much better.
Yeah,
it will get so once you heal and you'll know you healed, man. You realize, man, life is great.
So that's the thing. Like right now, if I said I'm the happiest I am right now, I know that I'm lying to myself, and I don't like lying to myself. Because remember, folks, lying to yourself is not good. Look, but you can lie to people, but you can't lie to yourself. But I look so forward to the day that I can say those exact words. I am the happiest I've ever been, and I know it's going to come.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to find the resilience.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, I look forward to that day because I deserve the type of person that I am and the things that I do for people. And as you get to know me, you're probably going to realize like that I'm not just saying that I'm a good person.
Right.
I actually, live and breathe it. A person like me, I deserve the world. But I've realized that just because you feel that you deserve the world doesn't mean that people have to give you the world. You have to give the world to yourself.
Bingo. That's exactly what I was just about to say. Give yourself the world. Anybody that comes into your life, that's a blessing for them. That's a bonus. If me and my ex get back together, if I find somebody else, whatever, that is a bonus for me. I'm happy with my life the way it is by myself. Anybody else is a plus.
So that is my message to the world. You have to give the world to yourself. You have to. So folks, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Danny and I and Diego, who's behind the scenes.
Shout out to Diego.
Shout out to Diego Serrano, man. Diego, listen, you guys will be hearing about Diego soon. Because I haven't spoken much about Diego, but Diego has been very pivotal to the Resilient Podcast and everything that's been going on in my life in the last, 7-8 months. But you guys will hear about Diego soon. But, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And I look forward to episode 13.
Sure.
But for now, this is Rob Aurelius.
DJ Danny Ocean.
Danny Ocean from North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
We're here in Hotlanta. And folks, remember, one life to live, live it well. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.